Hey mini enthusiasts, how you doing? I hope you're well and I hope you're having a great day. So I've currently got Sprout is ready to go down to National Mini Cooper Day, which if you're watching this video will have already happened. So this is the night before. I'm filming this intro on the Saturday night. So I'm leaving at 7 o'clock in the morning. We're going to load up. There's 4 of us going down in Sprout, so it'll be fully loaded and off we'll go down to Bewley. But like I say, by the time you're watching this, it'll be all over. So if you did go down, I hope you had a great day. I hope I got a chance to see you down there as well. I hope you got a chance to see Sprout maybe. In this week's update though, we are going to get Project Tardis running. So it's pretty much ready to be run. I just need to set the timing on it, make sure it's got oil pressure, and that's pretty much it. So let's get into this week's video and let's get Project Tardis running again. Right, I've decided to film this bit. Hopefully it might help someone out. So this is setting up the static timing. So when I had this engine apart, the distributor drive come out the block. Now the distributor drive is a helical tooth cog that can go in multiple different positions, and obviously if you put it back in the wrong position, the timing is going to be out. So I need to make sure the timing is there or thereabouts. So we're going to set it up as static timing. So static timing is it pointing at the rotor arm, pointing at cylinder number 1 when it's on its compression stroke. So the first thing we need to do, whip the rocker cover off, and we need to turn the valves over until we get number 4 rocking. So number 4 valves are rocking. That means the exhaust and the inlet are just in transition between opening and closing. So this would be like similar if you're doing the tappet. So when number 4 is rocking, that means number 1 is on its firing stroke, its ignition stroke. So we get that bang on. Next up, now I've already had a bit of a play with this, but yeah, basically when you pull this distributor out, it is slotted on this end. Hopefully I can zoom in and you can see that. It's slotted on this end, and then inside there is actually a shaft with teeth on the end of it. It's a toothed shaft. So I think hopefully I'll put it back in exactly the same position when it fell out, but we'll have a try. So let's get it back in. So that's engaged now. And now when I look at the distributor cap, all I need to do then, so it's number 1 that's firing, follow number 1 lead. That comes to this point on the distributor. You can turn it around and look inside. That's the contact inside the distributor. And it's just behind this clip. Now we need to make sure the firing order's right as well. So if we're doing the firing order as well, we now know where number 1 is on the distributor cap. It goes anti-clockwise. So the next one is 3, number 3, this is a firing order. So 1, 3, next one is cylinder 4, 4, next one is cylinder 2. So 1, 3, 4, 2, anti-clockwise. And if we look at our rotor arm now, our rotor arm is just pointing just past where the clip is, which is where number 1 is on the distributor. So when I put that back in, the rotor, just to double check it, the rotor arm should be pointing at number 1, which it is there or thereabouts. So we can clip the cap on now, rotor arm's pointing at number 1, and that should be good enough for our static timing. So it won't run brilliantly like that because it's not timed up properly, but it'll be there or thereabouts. Yeah, I might have to move that shaft actually because that might be a bit tight. Number 1. Yeah, I need to move the shaft position round a little bit. So this can be a little bit tricky. So we need to pull the distributor out. I then need to put my finger in. I can feel the shaft inside. I should be able to, you have to sort of rotate it, twist it and pull it at the same time, which is not easy, especially not when filming as well. So there is a toothed shaft I was talking about. See, it can go in any position. I pulled it out in about that position. I want it to go backwards a bit, so we'll move it round about that much, put it back in, and it's a bit of a wiggle to get it in. Obviously it locates in the back of the block as well, so what you'll actually find is it'll go in a bit of the way but not all the way. And now you need to stick a screwdriver down there. You can get up the middle of it and you can just help give that wiggle so it goes all the way home. So I'll move that back one tooth, or it should have been one tooth anyway, and we'll try again. Right, so 1342, we were pointing at cylinder 1, just double check. So distributor's right down the bottom. Sorry, rotor arm's right down the bottom. So I reckon that's about it. I reckon we're just about right. Let's put the rocker cover back on. And we'll go for a live start. No YouTube camera trickery here. This will be the first time we try and crank it over and first time we try and start it. I am genuinely a little bit worried because I can't remember the last time it was running, 7-8 months ago. I got a lot more oil out the engine than you would normally change on an oil change. I reckon about 7 litres come out. I drained 5 before I took the engine out, and then probably another couple of litres come out of it while we've been playing around with it and doing gaskets and things like that. That's because there's oil contained in the torque converter. So I'm just worried about it building up oil pressure okay, because it's not been run for so long. So I think we're about ready to go. First thing we're going to do is disconnect the coil, because we don't want it starting. We're going to crank it over and hopefully the oil light will come out. I guess come with me and have a look. Right, so let me just check to begin with, because just make sure. Obviously I've had the gear cable off as well, so I want to make sure it's definitely in neutral. So we've got an oil light, we've got an ignition light, and we're going to crank it. It'll probably take 30 seconds or so, would be pretty normal for the oil light to come on. We'll crank it for about 15 seconds and then let it have a rest. It'll help fuel get pumped up to the carburetor as well. Yeah, and on something old like a Mini like this, you don't want to be cranking it for 30 seconds, about 15 seconds, then give it like a 30-second rest and then try again. If you just crank too long, you'll end up burning out the starter motor, burning out earth cables, live cables. Well, that is a result, because the as you can see, the oil light went out. Now, one extra precaution I'm going to make, because I can't remember, the inhibitor switch is in the gear lever rather than the gearbox. So I don't know genuinely. It should be fine. If I've got the cable adjustment wrong, it might start up in gear. So we're gonna chock the wheels and we're gonna put the handbrake on just to take extra precaution. But yeah, oil light has gone out now, which is brilliant. And I heard the note of the engine just change a little bit. Right, so this is genuinely it. We'll put the coiled lead back on. I've chocked both wheels now. I am just being extra precautious there. On later and other automatic cars, it's not possible to start it in gear, but I'm pretty sure the inhibitor switch is on the gear lever, and then it is, because it's not on the gearbox, and then obviously the cable runs independently of the inhibitor switch, so it would be possible to put it in gear, and if the cable adjustment was wrong, and it would start. So we've chocked the wheels, we've got the handbrake on, I'll be at the key. So we've got fuel in the tank, ignition timing I think is around about right, choke is on, and again, you know, it's a bit of a concern there of an automatic. If choke's full on and you got high idle, it'll be off pretty quickly. We are just going to give it a bit of a helping hand with some magic spray, brake cleaner. Let's go. Make sure we're recording. Fingers crossed. It's doing something, I can hear it. It's just advance the timing a little bit. That is exactly what I thought. It's in reverse at the moment. Trying to move, so it's lucky, very, very lucky I've chopped the wheels. And there we go, it's back in neutral now, so very, very lucky I did chop the wheels there. That means I need to adjust the gear selector cable a little bit. Sweet as a nut. Oil lights out, charging lights out, no leaks, and obviously it was moving, so yeah, I'm well pleased. Now I'm going to set the timing properly. I'll adjust that gear lever cable so I know I'm definitely out of gear. It's got no coolant in it at the moment, so let's knock it off. Let's just restart it just to be sure. Still, yeah, it won't restart now because now the inhibitor switch is engaged. Let me sort that out. Well, I'm just running it up. It sounds beautiful. It's yeah, idling really nicely. I'm just setting the timing at the moment, but it doesn't always go to plan. If you look down the back of the radiator there, let me grab a light. I'm just running it up and filling it with coolant, but unfortunately we're getting a steady drip out the bottom of the radiator, so in fact I can see it down the side. Yeah, and unfortunately I think the radiator's had it now. Yeah, I must have damaged it at some point. Maybe when I was straightening out those radiator pins. So yeah, it's not over yet. It's going to want a new radiator.